The story of Christopher Columbus: exploration, ambition, and devastating consequences. Did you know that the man credited with discovering America never actually set foot on North American soil? The story of Christopher Columbus is far more complex than the simplified tales we often hear. It's a story of exploration, ambition, and devastating consequences that continue to shape our world today. Born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, Cristoforo Colombo, later known as Christopher Columbus, was a man of his time. He was a skilled navigator and cartographer, deeply immersed in the burgeoning world of maritime exploration. Columbus possessed a bold vision to reach the East Indies by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean. He believed this route would be significantly shorter and more profitable than the established eastern routes controlled by Portugal. This vision wasn't just about exploration, it was about trade, power, and the spread of Christianity. Columbus was convinced he could open new trade routes and bring wealth and glory to his patrons. Columbus spent years tirelessly seeking funding for his ambitious voyage. He presented his plans to various European monarchs, including those of Portugal, England, and France. His proposals were repeatedly rejected. Many considered his calculations inaccurate and his plan too risky. The prevailing wisdom favored the established routes around Africa. Finally, in 1492, he secured patronage from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. Their motivations were multifaceted, driven by wealth, the desire to spread Christianity, and intense competition with Portugal. The Spanish monarchs saw Columbus's voyage as a potential game-changer, a way to break Portugal's dominance in the spice trade and expand their own empire. This royal backing was the key that unlocked Columbus's journey. Columbus's first voyage was a daring gamble. He commanded 3 ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. These were relatively small vessels for such a long and perilous journey. His crew consisted of approximately 90 men, a mix of experienced sailors and those seeking fortune or a new life. They set sail from Palos de la Frontera, Spain, on August 3, 1492. After weeks at sea, with dwindling supplies and growing anxieties among the crew, land was sighted on October 12, 1492. This moment would forever alter the course of history. Columbus believed he had reached the East Indies, specifically islands near Japan. He claimed the island for Spain and named it San Salvador, meaning Holy Savior. He encountered the indigenous people, whom he mistakenly called Indians, believing he was in the Indies. This initial encounter initiated a complex and ultimately tragic relationship that would forever alter the fate of the Americas. Columbus made 3 subsequent voyages to the Americas, further exploring the Caribbean and the coasts of Central and South America. He was driven by the desire to find gold, establish trade routes, and expand Spanish influence. He explored various islands in the Caribbean, including Hispaniola, present-day Haiti and Dominican Republic, and Cuba. He established settlements and claimed vast territories for Spain. These voyages initiated the Columbian Exchange, a transatlantic exchange of goods, plants, animals, and diseases. This exchange had a profound and lasting impact on both the Americas and Europe. New crops like potatoes and tomatoes were introduced to Europe, revolutionizing agriculture and diets. Conversely, European livestock and crops were introduced to the Americas. However, the Columbian Exchange also brought devastating diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza to the Americas, to which the indigenous populations had no immunity. Columbus's voyages marked the beginning of European colonization of the Americas. This colonization brought with it exploitation, enslavement, and the decimation of indigenous populations. The indigenous people were subjected to a brutal system of forced labor known as the encomienda system. They were forced to work in mines and on plantations, often under inhumane conditions. Columbus himself was a ruthless administrator. He implemented policies that led to the enslavement and mistreatment of the native populations. His actions were driven by greed and a desire for personal gain. The native populations were decimated by disease, warfare, and harsh treatment. Millions perished in the decades following Columbus's arrival, leading to a catastrophic decline in their numbers. Due to his mismanagement and brutality, Columbus was eventually removed from his position as governor. He faced accusations of tyranny and cruelty, highlighting the dark side of his legacy. Christopher Columbus is a figure of immense historical significance, credited with initiating sustained European contact with the Americas. However, his story is a stark reminder of the complexities and contradictions inherent in history. He was a skilled navigator and a determined explorer, driven by ambition and a desire for wealth and glory. Yet, his actions unleashed a wave of colonialism and devastation upon the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The enduring impact of Columbus's voyages continues to be debated and reevaluated. His story serves as a crucial reminder of the importance of understanding the full context of historical events, including their often tragic consequences. Now that you've learned about the complex legacy of Christopher Columbus, we encourage you to delve deeper into this pivotal period in history. Research the perspectives of the indigenous peoples who were impacted by his voyages. Share this video with your friends and family to spark important conversations about colonialism and its lasting effects. Consider visiting museums or historical sites that offer a more nuanced understanding of this era. Let's learn from the past to build a more just and equitable future.